everyone. Welcome to the final October Harvest of Joy, celebrating personal and professional achievements and milestones edition of Track Chat. I am your host, Kirsten Greggs, and let me just tell you, I am so filled up today because I am sitting across from someone that I have known more longer than I've been an adult. We'll do that. How about that? Longer than I've been an adult?
Yeah. Long time.
So, true story. We met under duress. We were locker partners in 7th grade.
Gosh, I forgot.
And we came from different schools. So that's why I say we were under duress. And when we got pushed together, those of you that know me know what kind of pack rat I am. So God bless JoAnn for not strangling me. I am here with another Jersey girl / Philly girl who is now out in the Pacific Northwest, living her best life. Again, this is JoAnn Garbin. She is a sustainability and technology entrepreneur with a 25-year track record. She has launched 4 profitable businesses, over 100 programs and product. As I said, she's a native of New Jersey, and she also lived in Philadelphia for some time, worked for different companies, but a Villanova alumnus. She is a rescue dog mom, a proud auntie, like me, loves building with Legos. She also is a self-proclaimed book nerd and also likes hiking, biking, paddling, and all the fun stuff they do out there where she lives now. But hi.
Yeah, you basically, if you don't like to hike, bike, and paddle here, they throw you out.
Oh, well, we don't want them to throw you out.
And hopefully we will not hear the little rescue dog.
No, we welcome all living things here.
I can't believe the 7th grade locker. I don't want that is so priceless. Oh,
it was not a fun time for either one of us. I think we just had homeroom together, remember?
Yeah, and we would have sat next to each other with our last
for our entire lives. And our homeroom teacher was our English teacher too, and her name escapes me now.
Yeah,
Miss Bramble. Oh,
Miss Bramble.
She did not like me, honey.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of fans in 7th grade.
7th grade, 8th grade, then of course we went to high school together, and we're in a lot of the same courses. Although she was much smarter than me when it comes to the science and technology and math stuff, mechanical engineering major. So there it is. All right, so let's let people get to know you. Please share your career journey from 10-year-old entrepreneur to innovator, advisor, and sustainability and technology leader.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, of how to sum up, I'll say it quietly, almost 40 years, right? Because I started young. I was one of those kids, like today, good grief, if I was a kid today with the tech availability and everything, I probably already, have solved some massive problem. But we were 80s kids, so no internet, no cell phones. So I really did start building businesses when I was a kid. I was a hustler. I'm still a hustler. Just trying to make ends meet, I'm driven by curiosity. My mom said, I was definitely the pick it up, try to figure it out, break it, put it back together. She's an artist. My family was in construction, so I grew up around people creating and building. And so that's really the root of it. It's like curiosity combined with from my family and friends. And then I don't want to do like a play-by-play of my resume, go to LinkedIn, it's there. I was trying to think about what was unique about my career, and a few things stood out. One, of course, how early it started, because before I got to college, I had already figured out how to make money and how to take that money and invest it into the next thing. So I had all kinds of side hustles in college. I paid my own way through Villanova, which was a combination of scholarships, like lots of scholarships. I was like, I'm Lithuanian by half on my mom's side. I'm applying for it, and I would get them, and I'm just like, okay, that's $1,000. Let's stitch that together with 16 other things. But by the time I got out of school, now I've got all this time in the business side, figuring out how to make money. And now I have an engineering degree. So for a few more years, I was still hustling. I was working in theaters, and I turned that into making animatronic puppets. And then I went overseas and helped build a cruise ship. Like I did.
Oh, I'll say I didn't even know that. I know you built a cruise ship.
I was a carpentry subcontractor on one of the Disney ships being built in Italy.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
If you're ever on the Disney Wonder, that's some of my work. So like that first 24 years of my life, I call it my first act. It was really the setup. I just explored all of these different things. And then, of course, I had to make a living because I had engineering school debt. And so I got my first engineering job. And this is another theme of my career.
No, keep going.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Community. So I tapped into my Villanova community, and I met my mentor. And he had just founded a company in Philadelphia that was focused on energy management. And he was a basketball player at Villanova. I was the mascot at Villanova.
Oh, you were our high school mascot too.
I know. That became a whole 10-year period of my life, mascotting. Who thought, So he hired me. Like, we talked basketball for an hour, and then he offered me a job. I was like, oh, what's the job? He's like, we'll figure it out. And so I was very fortunate that I met somebody in my Villanova community that was willing to experiment and put my crazy pieces and parts together. And we ended up building a company and selling it. And that was the company I sold in my early 30s. And that's just kind of like one of the main themes. It was like, explore things, try things, tap into my community of people, see if we can make it a business, and then just rinse and repeat for the last 25 years. And so what has happened is I've had about 2/3 of my career spent out building businesses with people, and about 1/3 of my career in big companies. And I spent a few years in Johnson Controls after they bought our first company. And then I was back out on my own. And then I helped somebody else build their company in Boston. And in that period is when all of these things came into kind of the climax, which was Microsoft approaching me and saying, can you come do what you do for us? Which that's the final kind of unique thread I'll lay down as part of my journey. Throughout it all, I come from a single mom who is very values driven. Like, she knows who she is. She knows what she believes in, and what kind of person she wants to be in the world. And so we were all brought up that way. And from a very early age, society and nature and the intersection of all these things was important to me. And I've just never veered from that. And so my choices about what I was building or who I was joining and what communities I participated in, that was a common thread to all of them. So when Microsoft came to me and said, we want you to do what you do, what they were really talking about is the intersection of sustainability and technology, because that's what I've built my whole career on.
I love it. Now, you may have already answered this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway in case someone watching didn't catch it. So, as you mentioned, you've had a career in both startups and established brands. And throughout your career, you've been pushing beyond limits and also inspiring your team members and your team leaders to push beyond their limits as well. So, who or what serves as your inspiration to keep innovating and pursuing ambitious goals?
Yeah, it's so hard to distill who we become, isn't it? It's just at this age, the every year that you add, there's so many people that have come through, and there's so much you've done and learned and seen other people do. It's really hard for me to pin it all on any one thing. But I will say, I don't know if you ever met him, by the way, but I was raised by my mom, but we had a father figure in our life throughout our whole childhood. His name was Joe DeSandro, and anybody from Williamstown that played in township sports probably had him as a coach. He coached like all the sports. Joe D was my dad. He
Okay.
really came into my life when I was like 5. And I was pretty shy, believe it or not. I didn't talk a lot in grade school.
Oh, I didn't know you then. I didn't know
Yeah,
you
I know.
then.
Wait, think about it. My brother George is the exact opposite of shy.
Yes.
And we're only a year apart. So I let him be the party, and I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of snuck in behind him and kind of sat quietly watching. And in 3rd grade, Joe, or 4th grade, I think it was. So what are we, 9? Joe's like, you got to learn how to stand on the table, wear a big hat, and dance. And I was like,
Ooh.
my little 9-year-old brain was like, that sounds horrible. I think I cried to my mom. I was like, he wants me to do these things. But what he did was, he'd always coached boys. He always said I was his only girl.
Oh.
Um, and he just said, you got to show who you are and what you're capable of, and don't be shy about it. Like, you can go home and hide and recharge after.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but you really should bring all of you into the world loud and proud. And that has been a guiding principle. So partner that with my curiosity. And it's like, well, if my brain wants to go in that direction, let's go. Let's go as big and bold, and let's do it. And because maybe nobody else will think to do it. So I'll do it. So I
That,
put a lot in that.
I feel like that's a great segue to my next question. Um, so you've also worked with diverse teams, not just homogenous teams. And like you said, one of your first jobs, was really like someone like, well, what's the job? And they're like, we'll figure it out, So that's awesome. And you're in both the technical and the creative fields. What role does celebration and recognition play in fostering a positive team culture?
It's huge. It's foundational.
Yeah.
And in the book I have coming out, we have a chapter called Innovating with Everyone. And the subheading of the chapter is Igniting Change by Leading with Emotion, which you don't hear a lot when you talk to technical innovators, right? Like, where's the emotion? But really, if you don't first connect with people emotionally and then preserve that through trust and camaraderie and celebration and recognition, shared credit, if you're not doing those things, you're going to limit how much you can achieve together. So it always comes back to that. Like, the people I work with, I have one partner, we've been building together for 20 something years.
Wow.
We haven't always made money. We have built things that didn't work. We have built things that other people took from us. We've had struggles along the way. But when he calls or I call him, we enjoy talking to each other. And that's true of all of my lifelong friends, family, partners. It's the people who you just enjoy being around in the moment. And then you put your talents together and you can do really cool things.
I love it. Now, you did mention your book, so I'm going to skip ahead to the question about your book. For anyone who doesn't know, JoAnn co authored The Insider's Guide to Innovation at Microsoft with Dean Carrington, and it is coming out soon. It's available for pre order right now. You can go to her website, which is scroll at the bottom, and get a copy. I'll also leave it in a link directly in the comments when this airs. Whew. Anyway. The book emphasizes learning directly from people who've been at the forefront of innovation. So, how does this firsthand perspective differ from traditional innovation books? And what unique insights or strategies can readers expect to take away and apply in their own industries without giving too much away? Because they need to buy the book.
Yeah, and please. And all the proceeds are going to support STEAM education charities.
Yes.
So none of the money comes to me and Dean. We're going to be giving it to orgs like Khan Academy and Girls That Code. And
Yeah.
so please buy one, buy many, buy in
Yes.
bulk.
Buy in bulk.
Buy in bulk, bulkbooks.com. So the book is different in three key ways. First is Microsoft. We did not set out to write a book about Microsoft. We really were exploring innovation. How does it really happen? And it came from the fact that Dean is like a lifelong intrapreneur and I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. But when we met in my first year at the company, we had like the same stories and we came up with a lot of the same solutions. And so we started to wonder if there's just some truisms about innovation that no matter if you're building software or hardware or a service or a nonprofit or a for-profit, if you're in education, if you're in healthcare, innovation probably has some things in common. So that's what we went out looking for. So that's number one. Microsoft is a 50-year-old company coming this April that has reinvented itself 4 times. It used to ship disks and now it's a cloud and AI leader. And that's just 2 of the changes, the reinventions. Across that 50 years, there's only been 3 CEOs. It is one of the world's largest and most valuable companies and most diversified. So there's kind of a business group representing everything, one for one in the world. So we looked at it and we're like, this is the perfect canvas to explore innovation. We have access to all of these people that have been here doing it. We can go back and talk to alumni. We can talk to people at every level in the company. And that's the third distinction. As insiders, we had access to a lot more people than you would as an academic or as a consultant. And because we're all Microsoft, there's a trust there, right? They can tell us things they wouldn't tell somebody else, right? So it really gave us a rich landscape to explore. And we had about 40, maybe more than 40 people contribute. It's filled with quotes. It's filled with diagrams. And because we had the access we had, we were able to get past just the what and the when and the who. And we got deeply into the how. Like, growth mindset is a great goal, but how do you actually build it? How do you create an organization that supports it and rewards it and corrects for it? We get into that in the book.
I love it. I love it. Once again, all the proceeds are going to STEAM education. So purchase many of them and encourage other people to purchase many of them.
Yes, please. I look at it as if I wish I had this book at the start of my innovation career because it would have fast-tracked me. I would have spent a lot less time figuring out how to do it and a lot more time just doing it. So why repeat the mistakes of others? Just learn from them and skip them and now build off of that progress.
Wow. That's awesome. I can't wait to read it myself. And I'm definitely going to have to do a special review. We're going to have you back so we can discuss it, maybe with Dean,
Oh,
if
that would
he's
be great.
available. Yeah. Okay. So you've dropped our age multiple times now.
I can't avoid it.
And as a self-described I'm Gen X, obviously, but I'm millennial presenting. I like to say until I speak or make a joke or say what song I'm listening to, and people are like, "You don't belong here. Go away." But yes, and I'm happy to learn that Microsoft is older than us.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Not by much, but it is.
Ma'am.
Hey, we're wise.
There you go. Wise. Yes. So let's talk about this Gen X, and you're a Gen X woman who has navigated both the analog and the digital worlds. I know there are some people who don't, they're like, analog, what's that? You developed a unique adaptability and ability to spot market gaps and seize new opportunities. Can you share a specific example from your career journey where this adaptability and insight help you create or grow a business?
I think so.
Okay.
We graduate. Well, I won't lump you into my age group. I graduated just before the .com bust.
Yes.
But the flip side of the .com bust was a lot of invention happened. And one of the things that came to market was software as a service.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when we were in school, software was on a disk and you bought the disk and you took it home and loaded it on your computer.
Yeah.
Sounds so painful now. Salesforce came out with this idea of hosting it in the web. Mm-hmm. It wasn't called the cloud then.
Yes.
We predate that branding. And it was right at the time I joined my mentor's new company in Philadelphia. And here I just got a degree in mechanical engineering. I had just worked in theater and sets and props and special effects for the last couple of years. I thought, I was going to be building race cars or roller coasters, like physical things. Within the first year of my career, we're exploring physical buildings, looking for energy efficiency opportunities, collecting all of that data in spreadsheets and email, which was very archaic at the time. And there was only 7 of us in the company, and we had this portfolio of clients that was global. And it was just a lot of paper and a lot of emails and spreadsheets, and it was very hard to really leverage each other.
Yeah.
And so we looked around and we're like, well, there's this new thing called software as a service. We'd only have to write the code once, put it in the web, and then everybody's using the same version of the software all the time. No CDs, like we can log in and look at it and it's going to be current all the time. It sounds so basic now, but we saw it very early on. It was 1 year into the market that model existed. And I really do think because we grew up doing it the hard way, it made it that much easier to see these easier ways and be like, oh, I'll sign me up. I'll do it that way because this is brutal and I don't want to do it this way anymore. And now I look at what we can do, and it's set in motion for me as an innovator that I am always looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
And I adopt it really quickly, start playing with it, incorporating it, seeing if it adds value, just trying never to fall victim to, well, I've always done it this way, so I'm going to keep doing it that way. Like that's death to innovation. That is absolute death to innovation.
Thank you. So unfortunately, we have come to the last question of the Pick Your Brain section. I love how I just threw that in there. I'm being very corporate today, even though I got on my cat celebration shirt.
I saw that and I like it.
Well, this is going to air on my birthday, so I wanted to be dressed in my birthday attire.
Happy birthday, Kirsten. Right?
Kirsten Ween. Yep, coming up. Okay, so thinking about the theme, Harvest of Joy, what is one personal and one professional achievement that comes to mind that truly reflects a moment of celebration for you?
Yeah, this one, life gave me an easy answer. A year and a half ago, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And last summer, I got the call that from my first stage of treatment, I was, as best as we know, I was cancer free. I have a feeling that will be the biggest moment of joy for a long time to come. It was, I took it in stride as best as I could. I was just like, it is what it is. Show up, do the medicine. But that call was, I cried. I think it was like being held in for months, just waiting for that call to come, and it relates to the professional moment of joy, um, which isn't a big one. It's a lot of little ones. I don't know what combination of things came together, but having gone through that personal experience, I came out the other side just like, man, if ever comes a day where I get a scan and it's back, I want to know that every single day since I got that all clear, I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I did things I cared about with people I care about. Like I've always lived the life I've wanted. So, like some people say, to the detriment. I'm kind of stubborn and headstrong. But this was like whatever last ties to you should be doing, or if only you were doing, or whatever those constructs are, or even that little voice in the back of our head that we all assume we're going to live to 85. All of that went away. And I'm like, I'm alive today. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to play with my dog. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to drink a latte. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to read. I'm going to create. Like, it just reset to a new extreme how I spend my time.
Okay. I love it.
Which is why I left Microsoft,
Yes.
Wrote a book, and am back to being an entrepreneur, because it is my happy space.
I love that for you. And I'm so happy for you being a survivor. You joined a list of, I'm blessed to say that I know a number of survivors. So I'm glad that I get to add you to that list as well.
Thank you. Yeah. I joke that it's a club nobody wants to join, but has some of the best people as members.
Some of the best people I know. Shout out to those who know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
All righty. It's time for the rapid fire.
These are actually harder, by the way. I had to get some AI help to make decisions on these.
No way.
I did. I was like, oh, geez. No, they're great.
Okay. Well, now that I feel bad.
No, they're good. It was a good challenge. Difficult is never a negative in my head.
Okay, I think what it is that the beginning part, I think people don't realize that they're talking about, that I'm getting them to talk about themselves. They don't realize it because I'm telling you to impart your wisdom and impart the things that you're a subject matter expert on. And then I come to this and people always shy away from celebrating themselves and talking about themselves and the things that are important to them for them. So I think that's why you found that this was difficult.
I like them though. They're really cool questions.
All right. Well, I am very excited to know the answers to these questions. Who's a well-known and or lesser-known historical or contemporary figure who inspires you and we should learn more about?
Okay, so I dug into my philosophy feeds because
Ooh.
when I went to school, I studied engineering and philosophy has been a major theme through my life. And I wanted to pick somebody really cool who represents a lot of what I care about. So I'm going to give Simone Weil, and the last name is spelled Weil. She's amazing. She not only was a philosopher, but she practiced what she preached. So during the war, she went out and volunteered to be at the front lines because she felt like if she's going to talk about society and its impacts and these things, she can't just be sitting back in a classroom pontificating. Whoa. She needs to be out in the world doing it. So she worked in manufacturing plants. She's amazing. So,
all right. Well, thank you for that one. I've not heard of that person, but I am going to look up Simone Weil. Is the way you pronounce the last name, right?
I think it's German, so they.
They.
But yes. Weil. Yeah.
I think George was in my German class.
That's not good. He'll even tell you he's still working on English.
Hey now. Okay. What fictional character gives you a glimpse of yourself?
This one, I thought of it and AI confirmed it.
Okay.
Hermione Granger.
Yes!
Yep. I got to admit, I'm definitely like all the years of Hermione. At the beginning, I was the kid with their hand up in the class. I was a super nerd.
Yeah.
But then I got some like cool guy friends and they
balanced you.
Yeah, they taught me some trouble.
Okay. Okay. What is your favorite empowering quote? I really could not say that word. We're going to have to send me to speech therapy for that.
So it's not a quote by anybody else, but it's probably an amalgamation of many things I've heard over my life that I have truncated down to do the work. I am somebody that whenever I'm like in my head, like, oh man, this is going to take like a decade and I don't even know where to start. I just stop, I take a breath and I'm like, just do the work. That's the secret sauce to everything successful.
Do the work. Ooh, if you could spend a day shadowing someone in a different profession from your own, who would it be and what would you hope to learn from them?
Right now, I am very much interested in learning economic theory. And there's a woman named Kate Raworth who created this new version of economic theory called donut economics.
Okay.
Years old now, but it's really about balancing all the aspects of capitalism and society and nature in a donut that we don't underperform and we don't over consume. And I would love to be a fly on the wall in her life.
Don't underperform and don't over consume.
Yeah. So you want to make sure everybody in the world has drinking water. But you don't want to build systems that inadvertently deplete that drinking water. Simple example.
Okay. Oh, here's another one. Every time I see this question written down, I see go-go song. What's your favorite go-go song? But it's not go-go. What is your go-to songs or music genre when you want to hype yourself up to conquer the day?
So I turn to Spotify or one of the streamings because I usually have one song but I want a playlist.
Okay.
But I have to admit that Pharrell Happy is one that I ask for often. But it could just as likely be like a Florence and the Machine song or Janelle Monáe Tightrope. I love that song. Or sometimes I'm just like, just play me a mix of Cyndi Lauper. Like So I think what it is like Pharrell and others, they mix and match a whole bunch of genres. They've got great energy.
Yeah.
And I think I always go back to Happy just because it's happy.
So people either love or despise that song. There is no in between.
Well, I like that it leads right into Justin Timberlake's song from the Happy Feet movie.
Which one?
It's like Sunshine in My Pocket.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
that.
It's
I
one
don't
of
know
the
that.
animated films, and they all just make me kind of act like a 10-year-old again.
Okay. Oh, what's the best piece of career advice you've received that you would give to your young career self, your early career self, I should say?
It's actually a piece of advice that my mentor gave me early in my career that I'm still wrestling to put into action.
Okay.
And it's I should say my mentor is one of the nicest, most charismatic and people-loving people I know. But in all good lives, some less than likable people come along. And
Mhm.
sometimes they really annoy you and get in your way at work in particular. And he pulled me aside back in the day, and he's just like, JoAnn, sometimes just tell them what they want to hear so that they go away. I
That is good
still
advice.
try to get to shared understanding, and I've spent so much time and energy wasted. I
Very
should have
good.
just told them what they wanted to hear so that they go away.
That is great advice, and I am going to apply it to my life. Tell them what they want to hear so they will go away. Yes, love that. So, you already wrote a book, but if you wrote a book describing your career so far, what would the title be?
So titles have typically, ours doesn't for the book we actually wrote, but a lot of titles today have like one word and then like a sentence of a
Mm-hmm.
subtitle. So
Yeah.
I decided my one word would be team,
Okay.
because without my teams, I wouldn't have achieved anything. Like, it's all about who I've been partnered with.
Okay.
But the subtitle would be Say It Ugly and Do It Right.
Ooh, I like that. So, are you working on that right now?
I'm not. I'm trying to get this current book out into the
Okay.
world where it actually is
All right.
found on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, uh, the Simon and
Bookshop,
Schuster bookshop. Yes.
bookshop.org if you want to support independent bookstores.
Yes, it's a lot of places. I've been there. I was like, buy now. Okay, here, 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 here. Very
Yeah.
nice. All right. Last question before we go. What are you most looking forward to as the year ends? Whether it's a personal goal, project, or initiative, a professional milestone, or an exciting opportunity.
It's all new for me right now.
Okay.
I'm calling it my third act, and I'm building some things with a team of people that we don't have any constraints on us. We've decided this thing we're doing together doesn't need to make money. It doesn't need publicity right now. We're just doing it because we're all seniors in our crafts and we want to put them together to see what we can do. I know, I'm so sorry. But we are. We're the old heads, Kirsten. We are. I got gray. It's better than the alternative.
Well, there you go. That is true. That is true.
So I'm very much looking forward to that work I'm doing quietly with this group of people. And then the book and writing and talking to interesting people like you, reconnecting with people. In this third act, I have a lot more time for exploration and learning and connection. So I'm really excited about that.
So third act is your personal memoir. So there's another book for you. You got 2 more books to write.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So tell everyone again about the book, where to find it, where they can get in touch with you for speaking engagements, to, come and do a book tour maybe, or just find out more about your work.
Great. Yeah. The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. It has links through to everything else. Because I have a personal website. I have a book website, innovation@microsoft.com.
Okay.
There you can sign up to be an insider, and we'll be doing some digital only bonus chapters on case studies that didn't show up in the book. And we will be out on a book tour starting in mid-January, and we'll be going around North America. So we'll post that schedule soon. And if we're coming to your neighborhood, let us know. The book tour will be based around Microsoft Garage locations, but we're also going to reach out to local universities and customers of Microsoft, which basically is everybody in the world.
Everybody, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be out and about, and it'll all come through both on LinkedIn and the website.
Thank you so much for taking time today. When we first spoke, last week. After 30 years. I mean, we're on Facebook together. We, there's chatter back and forth and all of that. But to actually speak, it was like we never didn't talk to each other for 30 years.
Isn't it so funny? Yeah. I said the same thing after we hung up. I was catching up with my mom. I'm like, we literally haven't gotten on the phone and chatted in 30 years. But within 5 minutes, it was like we had lunch last week, or I tried to cram my book in the locker next to all your stuff.
That's so true. Oh, I apologize. I was only preteen, right? I'm sorry that you had to be my locker partner.
Oh, I'm so glad you were my locker partner. I'm so glad.
Oh, okay. All right. So, everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you again, JoAnn, for being here. Please come back next time. We are sticking with the Harvest of Joy theme, but the sub theme for November will be giving thanks, obviously. So make sure you come back to Trap Chat for more amazing and outstanding guests. Make sure you pick up the Insider's Guide to Innovation at Microsoft. Connect with JoAnn. Go see JoAnn and Dean on their book tour. And that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.